Welcome back to Good Sports for You, where we are talking about good sports for you. And the World Baseball Classic is right around the corner, so I want to give my full predictions. Now, I do a breakdown of each individual team, and those are coming out on YouTube Shorts, so I'm not really going to go into every single team in detail here. I'm going to glance over a lot of things, but I'm just trying to give you the complete look. I want to go over what teams are going to advance from each pool, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and then obviously the finals, give my predictions. But before we hop into it, I want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. So the breakdown for this tournament is there are 4 pools of 5 teams each. There's pool A, B, C, and D, right? The top 2 teams advance from each pool to go to the quarterfinals, and then it's a single elimination, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the final game, right? One thing also to note, though, is teams 3 and 4 of each pool automatically qualify for the next World Baseball Classic. So just because you're out of it in terms of advancing, you still want to be fighting every single day because you want to stick around and not have to go through the qualifiers next time around, right? So with all that being said, let's hop right into it with Pool A. In this pool, we got Puerto Rico, Canada, Cuba, Panama, and Colombia. This is arguably the most even pool. There's honestly not a single team that you could view as a weak link. I guess the weakest team is probably Panama, but even them, they have MLB players on the roster. It's not a free win whatsoever. Colombia was actually the team that had to go through the qualifiers, so it's like they're a really solid team. Canada is probably the strongest team in this pool right now, just because they have a ton of MLB players. They got MLB All-Stars on their squad. Puerto Rico, you're looking at that team and you're thinking, wow, they could definitely do some damage. MLB talent up and down the entire lineup in the pitching rotation as well. But the one issue with them is that Carlos Correa and Francisco Lindor were unable to play because of insurance issues, and then Javi Baez was suspended because of other things that he's done in the past. So Puerto Rico was the favorite going into it, but I would say they're not the favorite right now. But it is being played in Puerto Rico, their pool is. So it's kind of tough to say. This is probably the most difficult one to pick, but I would say Team Canada advances. Puerto Rico is the second team to advance. And then I'm going to say Colombia and Cuba are the teams that stick around, and then Panama has to go through the qualifiers again. This Cuban team as well, I wanted to note this, they don't have a ton of MLB players like we're used to seeing from Team Cuba, and historically, they're one of the better international teams, and it is not that way this year. This is one of the weaker rosters that they've put out. I still think that they have a very solid and very competent team, and obviously the baseball culture is so rich in Cuba that I think they'll be fighting for a lot of national pride, so I'll be excited to see everything with Pool A, but I got Canada and Puerto Rico coming out of it from there. Pool B, this one, I mean, it's not really much of a competition if we're being 100% honest. This has the United States, Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil. Brazil is a great story. They're not going to do anything. They maybe will win a game against Great Britain. Great Britain's also not going to do anything. They could maybe put up a fight against Team Italy, but they're going to lose to the United States. They're going to lose to Mexico. Where it really gets interesting is Mexico and Team Italy. Team Italy, one may think, oh, they're not going to be that good. They have a very, very good roster. I mean, top to bottom, it's just MLB players. You've got some really, really exciting players. You got Vinny Pasquantino on there. You got Aaron Nola pitching, and that's all-star caliber players. And the whole entire thing is just a really well put together team. Mexico's better. They have better pitching. They have better hitting. They have Randy Arozarena. And if there's a single player that's most important in this tournament, I would argue that it's Randy. He has been known to come out and absolutely fight in the biggest games, in the World Series, in the World Baseball Classic. He has done that, and I expect him to do it again for Team Mexico. Not to mention, they lost in the semifinals last year on a walk-off double, or not last year, in 2023, to Team Japan, right? The team that went on to win it all. They lost on a walk-off double, so they added a closer, and they added Andres Munoz, the all-star, one of the best closers in the entire game. So it's hard to see a lot of holes in this Mexican team. It's a very, very solid team. And then obviously the team that's going to win this pool, if we're being so honest, is Team USA. This is arguably the best lineup ever constructed by any team ever. And on top of that, they added Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal. Because the one thing that the Team USA has been knocked on in the past is, the pitching hasn't been enough. Well, you added the 2 Cy Young winners, so I think that's going to get the job done. But you're looking at this lineup, I mean, you got Judge, Bryce Terang, Bobby Witt Jr., I believe. Gunnar Henderson's there. Alex Bregman in the outfield. You got Byron Buxton, Pete Crow Armstrong, Roman Anthony, Kyle Schwarber's in there. Cal Raleigh, Will Smith, and I know I'm missing players. Bryce Harper, Paul Goldschmidt. Like, just top to bottom, it's just an absurd team. So for my prediction for Pool B, it's going to be the United States winning. It's going to be Mexico also advancing. I would be nervous of Italy, though. They're definitely a very good team that could be on upset alert to take down Team Mexico. So it's going to come down, honestly, to their game on who advances. But my money would be on Mexico. But then I would have Italy in the 3, Great Britain in the 4, and then Brazil has to go through the qualifiers again. Pool C, this is another kind of top-heavy pool. You got Japan, you got South Korea, you got Chinese Taipei, and then you also have Czech Republic, and you have Australia. You got one team that's dominant, and that's Japan. They're going to advance. I'm getting that out of the way. I don't really need to talk about them much more. Obviously, previous champions. They're bringing back a lot of the same players. You got Shohei Ohtani. He's not pitching, but you know what he can do hitting-wise. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who just is coming off of the World Series MVP casually. But then it really comes down to Korea and Chinese Taipei for who is going to advance out of that 2 spot. And you're looking at it, and I just think that Korea's the better team, but Chinese Taipei is coming off of some momentum. They just won the Premier 12, which is another international tournament, so they could be riding some momentum, but Korea is just the better team. And then Australia, they're going to be my 4 team, and then Czechia, unfortunately, is going to be the team that's going to have to go through the qualifiers again. But tune into that team. They're a team made up of electricians, school teachers, firefighters. They're just fun. They bring the joy to baseball, make it a real global game, which is just so fantastic. Pool D is another interesting one. There's not really a weak team in this pool as well. You got Nicaragua, who I guess you could argue is the weakest. You got Israel. You got the Netherlands. You got the Dominican Republic, and you got Venezuela. Obviously, the highlight of this pool is Venezuela and the Dominican Republic. Those 2 teams are absolutely stacked, like almost to a silly degree, especially the DR. Top to bottom, MLB All-Stars, similar to the United States. They don't have quite the top-end pitching that the United States does, but they still have pitching. And same with Venezuela. I mean, you got Acuna, you got Salvi Perez, you got the Contreras brothers, you got Jackson Chourio. I mean, that is just a good team. The Netherlands, though, don't sleep on that squad as well. This is a team that has his history in the World Baseball Classic. They've done a lot in the past. They're bringing back Xander Bogaerts, Ozzie Albies, Didi Gregorius is getting some run. So it's like that's another team that could definitely make some noise, but they're just a step down from Venezuela and the DR. And then Team Israel has a lot of promise. They have a lot of MLB players coming over to play for Team Israel, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. And then same with Nicaragua. Like, they have some good players. They don't have as many MLB players as the other teams in this pool, so I think that they're going to be the last place team. So my final order for Pool D is going to be the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Netherlands, Israel, Nicaragua for Pool D. And then, so now we get into the quarterfinals, and we're taking the winner from Pool A and the runner-up from Pool B. So that is going to be Canada versus Team Mexico. That is going to be a great game. Those are 2 fantastic teams. Ooh, I would have to go Team Mexico. They're just too deep of a team. They're just too good. Munoz is just such a huge addition for that squad, and they have good hitters. And like I said, I cannot understate how big Randy is going to be. He's going to be fantastic. Got Jonathan Aranda in there as well. Just a really solid and complete team. So I would have Mexico moving on to the semifinals. And then on the other side, we're taking Puerto Rico from Pool A, and we're taking the United States from Pool B. It's going to be the United States to put Mexico and the United States in the semifinals, and I'm going to have the United States take it. They're just too good of a team. But I will say, like, this Mexican team is very good. Like, if there is a team on this side of the bracket, because that is easily the weaker side of the bracket, that could give the United States a run, it is Mexico. They'll already see them in pool play, so they'll already know what they're looking like. And then you will also most likely see them in the semifinals. So that is going to be an awesome game. But I got the United States going to the gold medal match and Mexico going to the 3rd place match. And then on the other side of the bracket, we're taking the winner from Pool C, which is going to be Japan, and the runner-up in Pool D, which is going to be Venezuela. Team Japan has the most difficult path to the finals that I've ever seen, First of all, the pool that they're coming out of is not for the faint of heart. You still got Korea, you still got Chinese Taipei, you still got Australia, honestly, who's made the quarterfinals in the past, and you got Czechia, which, okay, yeah, sure. They did strike out Shohei Ohtani, so it's nothing to snuff at, right? But after that, they have to go against either Venezuela or the Dominican Republic. I'm saying Venezuela for here, which is a finals caliber team. This is such a good team. Like, I cannot understate that enough. That is going to be a team that can beat Japan. They can beat the Dominican Republic. They could definitely give the United States a run for their money. I would say that Venezuela is the fourth best team in this tournament right now. So the fact that Japan has to go up against them in the quarterfinals is absolutely silly. This is tough. I'm going to say Team Japan, and that's just because they have so much pride in their international baseball. They play like the most complete team, like the most unified team of any team in the bracket, and I think that that will be enough to get past the talent of Venezuela, because honestly, if you're looking at pure talent, Venezuela may have the edge. I mean, it's close. You could go either way, but it's going to be really close. But I do have Japan advancing. And then on the other side, you're taking the winner from Pool D, which is going to be the Dominican Republic, and the runner-up from Pool C, which is going to be Korea. I got the DR taking it. I don't think that one's going to be very close. The DR just has an absolutely stacked team, highlighted by Juan Soto, and you got Tatis, and you got Julio, and you got Vlad Jr. I mean, that team is just so good. I think they handle Korea pretty easily, which leads to the semifinals of Japan versus the Dominican Republic. This is going to be a legendary game. And then, like, I would also like to note, this is for the pleasure of playing Team United States, which is one of the best teams ever, arguably the best team ever. And you know what? This is brutal. This is brutal. This is going to be really, really tough. I just believe in Team Japan to win. They're just so good in the World Baseball Classic. Like, they have the experience of knowing what it takes to win it all. The DR doesn't really have that. So I'm going to go with Team Japan, but I do think the talent favors the Dominican Republic. And they'll go to the third place game where they'll match up against Team Mexico, and they're going to win that game, I think. That is just, they have too much talent to go up against Team Mexico. And then the championship game is going to be the United States versus Japan. Once again, we're going to get a rematch. And this time, the United States will come out on top to defeat Team Japan to become World Baseball Classic champions for the first time since 2017. The logic behind this is the talent is just too much. You have 10 players on the team, I believe, who had MVP votes. You have Kyle Schwarber, who finished top, was it top 2? I think he finished second to Ohtani this season in MVP. So, you got Ohtani over at Japan, right? You got Bryce Strang, MVP vote getter. You got Pete Crow Armstrong, MVP vote getter. You got Byron Buxton, MVP vote getter. You got Gunnar Henderson, who in the past has been an MVP vote getter. You got Alex Bregman in the past has been one of a top player, and he's still so good. You got Bryce Harper, just absolutely incredible. You got Bobby Witt Jr., the best shortstop in the game right now. You got Cal Raleigh, who just hit 60 home runs as a catcher. And then you have Aaron Judge, the best hitter on the planet. And that's not even talking about the pitching, where you have the top-end talent of Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, and you still have Logan Webb as like your third starter who casually finished top 5 in Cy Young votes. And like the one thing that I will say is the relief isn't fully there. You have David Bednar though, who is still an all-star caliber reliever. Like, this team is just so good and so stacked and so deep. They can go in and they can play the matchups if they really want. You can get the righty lefties. You can do all those things. The team is just too good. The talent is just going to be too much for Team Japan to overcome. So my final predictions, Team United States is going to come out on top. Team Japan will finish second. The Dominican Republic will take home third place, and Team Mexico will finish fourth place. It is going to be such a great tournament. Make sure to tune in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I appreciate it so much, and I'm out. Peace.